Okay, good morning everyone. Today I would like to introduce for you contemporary houses, and I would like to give you a really wide spectrum of the contemporary houses and the houses from the architectural history too. So we're gonna observe, and I'm gonna introduce for you houses for the 20th century and the 21st century too. It's only my selection. Please don't forget it's my taste and my opinion. I try to reflect to the contemporary houses nowadays. I try to collect houses from every piece, every part of the world, and I'm going to introduce you two Hungarian houses also, or maybe three family houses, because I think it's important to share the knowledge with you. And it's a pre-recorded lecture because the recording system in the Teams, it's not a really good quality. It depends on the internet connection. But now I pre-record the lecture, upload to the YouTube, and you can watch back in any time in a really good quality. So that's why I decided to make a pre-recorded lecture about the houses. So this is the 12 plus 1 houses, the part 1, because the one class time is not enough to record together all the houses. I'm gonna tell you at the end of the lecture why it's plus 1 houses, and so this is the Metropolitan State University of Denver Architecture 202. This is Architectural Design 1. My name is Professor András Greg, you know me, and let's start the class. I try to collect houses where we are able to watch little bit back of the scenes. So I already told you how important is the conceptual designing part, the design process, and the first sketches and the first drawings. So we're gonna start examples where is the sketches and the first drawings, conceptual drawings are available, and we're gonna try to understand. We're gonna try to see what is the meaning of this. The first house is from Spain, from Cadiz. The designer, the architect is Alberto Campo Baeza, Casa de Infinito, the house of the infinite. The year is 2014. I'm gonna try to. I start to first explain and introduce the site, and after we can go deeper and deeper to the house. And look at this marvelous place, like a piece of earthly paradise at Cadiz. The architects have built the infinite plain facing to the infinite sea, the most radical house that the architects had ever made. At the very edge of the waters of the Atlantic Ocean, where the sea unites the new and the old continent, emerges a stone platform. At the place where the old ships from the Mediterranean used to pass and still pass the Eschie head off into the Atlantic. And there the architects have erected a house as if very jetty facing out the sea. A house that is a podium crowned on an upper horizontal plane. So it was a really important base of the conception, the horizontal plane, where you cannot see where is the sky, where starts the sky and where ends the sea and the ocean. And this plane, this line, was the most important designing approach what defined the foundation of the designing. So the architects face out the distant horizon traced by the sea where the sun goes down. A horizontal plane on hind built in stone, Roman travertine. If it were sand, the infinite plane facing the infinite sea. Nothing more and nothing less. This was the first few sketches about the building. It was really important to contain the horizontal line and contain the slope of the hill, and how the sloping and the beach is floating to the sea and floating to the Atlantic Ocean, and somehow reflecting to the existing buildings there. The most important thing was to not harm the site, not harm the natural environment, because it's really hard to put a building what doesn't harm the natural environment. And you can see how easy and how childish this sketch, but these drawings and these sketches can tell the most important feelings about your building and about your thing. It's like avoid the landscape. A landscape won't. A landscape harm there. And the sketch is also there. You can see a big platform, a big travertine platform. What is stone? The Roman travertine is a stone style, and the materialize this elevated horizontal plane, which is the main living room of the house. The architects built a large work with 20 meters of frontage and 60 or 36 meters deep. And under those, the first 12 meters, they excavated 2 floors in the solid rock to develop the wall living space. And you can see how beautiful is the moving. What we can do, just contain the pedestrian paths and the walking to the end of the house, like the end of the ground next to the ocean. Nothing more and nothing less. The Romans were there a handful and the centuries ago. Bologna, anyway, the ruins of the Roman fishing factories, where they produced garum and built temples or to their gods, is just a stone throw away. In their honor, they have built a house. The architects have built a house like an acropolis in stone, in Roman travertine, to give even greater force to the platform. They incorporated all the terrain as far back as an entrance, while separating us from the street. Also done in Roman travertine. Once inside the wall, the entrance to the house will be via a trench in the form of stairs dug into the upper surface of the platform. So there is a really hard border between the street and between the house, but it's just a wall. It's not a fence, it's just a wall. And after we are inside the wall, we will see a beautiful staircase into the house. But the most important is not the house, the most important the horizontal lane. And can you imagine the walking from here and go through just these walls, what intimate and reflect to the Roman ruins, what was there before. So we have to go through this wall, but we can see through these empty halls, these openings. And after the side, what we can see, just the horizontal line, what floating together, merged together into one line there. And a Greek poet said that this is a true temenos, a meeting place where, according to mythology, humans and gods come together. And the denuded stone platform, 3 walls surround us and protect us from the prevailing strong winds. Sometimes it is in someone has opened a bag containing the winds of Auleus, the same winds that drove on the vessel in which Ulysses made his journey home. And look at this view, and look at this view. You can imagine better solution for this side. The shade, the color of the travertine is harmonizing with the sand and with the whole side area, and it's really nice containing the sloping hill and the existing natural environment. There are several dimensions and several universes of the houses. There is one what is connected with the beach and with the sand, and this one connected with the beach and the sky, and there is an upper level what connected only the horizon and only the edge of the ground and edge of Europe and this continent. It's something like end of the continent here. This is the end of the world, because for the people 5, 6, 700 years ago, the end of the ground and the end of the continent, the start of the ocean, was the end of the world. And this is what simulates and shows something from this feeling. And let's start to understand the horizontal line. It's a really nice painting, or not a painting, it's a sketch, an etching. And there is a lovely etching by Rembrandt from 1655, Christ presented before the people. That's the name of the etching, what you can see now. That has always fascinated him. In it, Rembrandt sketches a straight horizontal line, perfectly straight and perfectly horizontal. It is the border of the powerful days, the podium upon which the scene takes place. There, as Mies van der Rohe did so often, he has made the plan into a line. He was certain that Rembrandt and Mies van der Rohe would like our podium house, all podium, only podium. And as would, after you're gonna see it, Adalberto Libarra, a Casa Malaparte, who did the same thing in a Casa Malaparte in Capri, they like it too. And when we look at our house from the beach, we will remind it, all of them. The architect said, "You are encouraged to forget your building end and the skies begins, or imagine you are setting sail of the helm of the stone ocean liner." Look at this, how strong this view, and how it works. So the architects wanted this house to be capable not of only making the time and the still, but to remain in the minds and hearts of the humankind, the house of infinite. And let's start to investigate and observe a little bit the plans. This is the first floor when we arrive, and this is the ground floor of this. So this is where we arrive, and you could see before the platform the site plan from here, the site plan. So we arrive from the street. There is a border between the street and between the family house, the home, and after we can go down with this beautiful beautiful staircase, what is melted into the house. So yeah, you can see the hall and you can see the staircase, but this is the most defined point of the house. The staircase just serves the house. After we go down on the first floor, you can see and you can find the pantry under the ground, some storage part under the ground, and you can find the dining room, and you can see a bedroom and a porch there. So this is a little bit the public zone with a guest room, guest bedroom, and a kitchen there, of course, a small kitchen. But this is the half public and half private. And if you go on down, there is more bedrooms, more places, and the warehouse behind, excavated hill, and a communal place what has a connection with the beach and with the ocean. And you can see there is two staircases, one staircase just from the exterior and one interior staircase. It's a little bit waste of the space, but it was really important to bring the people from the street in an exterior staircase and not an interior staircase. So we arrive in an exterior staircase. After we have to go through again a gate, and after we can arrive to the house. So there is several stages of the arriving, and not immediately arriving to the house. So it's like a theater solution. You can see the bedrooms and connected with the beach. It's a really simple house. You can see the dining room. The dining room has bigger and opened openings, wider, bigger openings, and the family houses just get smaller openings because of the sun moving, of course. And you can see is also what is public is a little bit bigger windows, and what is private is a smaller windows. And you can see the elevation is how nice the layout of the elevation, and how nice is the openings, symmetric layout, and the composite and the compose and the layout. It's really nice because it's center axis inside, and of course the storage in the smaller things has a nicer way. I would like to show you some interior photos too. This is the first level with just a view and the visual connection, but the dining room and big glass facades and glass surfaces. There's a hole inside the plane, so there's a visual connection between the first floor and the plane floor. You can see the ruins there, the Roman ruins on the left side. So pure and so raw, but somehow it's really beautiful. And this is the connection between the beach, and you can see the ruins also. And the building is the biggest face of the building is looking the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, face to the Atlantic Ocean. And the rooms and the private functions is a little bit turn its head away from the ocean. It's a little bit more private, it's a little bit more intimate. I showed it before, and I don't know where is my favorite, but it's also really nice, my favorite sketches, and you can see why it's important to create paper models. And you can see just a little bit different, like the existing and the built version, but how nice to see together a simplified paper model. No any color, no any more it's just made by wood, black and white photo, and how harsh and how strong. I can feel the power of the concept. So simple, just contain the platform, make an edge, and try to hide the not necessary functions, or the necessary but not nice function, the service functions under the ground, and face to the ocean. So this was the first one, Campo Baeza, a section what we see before, and the horizontal plane. Let's continue with another, what is not cube, but something what a cuboid form, and with a typical house form. Let's continue with a house from next to Spain, from Portugal, from Leira. This is a house in Leira, and the architecture office is Aires Mateus. Is a really famous architect in Europe. The year 2010, and I think this house was awarded so many prizes, so many architecture prizes. So it's a little bit famous, world famous house. You can see the site. It's not a typical shape of the site, and you can see how many lines, topographical lines, just sloping the side maybe to this direction. And the site is in the outskirts of Leira, in a high position overlooking the city. And the functions are banal. A house divided in a private area with bedrooms and social area with living rooms. The private areas are at the street level under the plot, around the central courtyard with rooms opening to private patios in an intimate environment. So this patios is defining the whole concept and the whole concept of the house. And the living rooms are around the void that collects light from above and gazes the castle at the city center. So you can see the house, and on the ground level there is only the public functions. For example, the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. The main characteristics, idea, and the concept was create, of course, the typical shape of a house, the typical recognizable archetype of the house, what is really often used in Europe and in worldwide too, because the typical size and typical shape of a house. But somehow he wanted to change the thinking about this. So the house is a recognizable archetype emptied of its center by the light designed by a three-height courted that that opens horizontally at the garden level. The bedroom courtyards revolved in the garden relate with this archetypal object, providing different readings on its scale. Scale and volume and controlled in a chaotic context, with a clear identity that from its core relates with the historical legacy far away, the Lyra castle. And yeah, there is more than meets the eye in this deceivingly simple house on a hill overlooking the city of Lyra. The building's white-washed, minimal exterior bears the signature of Francisco and Manuel Aires Mateus, and two architects know their love for the geometry and the compositional sensibility, especially as seen in the way the balance out of interpret solid volumes and voids in their design. Anyway, as a matter of fact, their participation in the 2016 Venice Architectural Biennale was an exhibition titled Voids, which was a study of many ways architects can carve out spaces, hailed as one of the most beautiful pavilions in the Biennale that year. With a simple architecture form of a gable house roof, the house in Lyra project is a bit a conundrum at first sight, due to its complete lack of doors or windows. The secret is that the house is mainly built underground, with 3 sunken private courtyards acting as lights well as the bedrooms. A large opening cuts through the house roof and goes all the way down to the lower level. There, I'm going to show you the section. So in the big opening hall, what you can see there, it's go through the whole building, and this light touches the downer level down, and this large opening cuts through the house roof and goes all the way down the lower level, thus bringing even more light into the living areas and the central courtyard around which is all the space are organized. And this playful, sophisticated, making efficient house of natural light and space. The House of Lyra is perfectly example of Aires Mateus' architect philosophy put in this action. The seemingly chaotic interplay between levels and rooms and rooms adhere to the plain white interior, offering ample options for space configuration and zoning. While it looks like a monument from the outside, the house interior is like a protected cocoon that provides the necessary privacy and protection without compromising its connection with the environment and the city beyond. And the large opening really nicely cut through that one. And this house is a recognizable archetype empty center by the light design by the 3 high coated yard that opens horizontally at the garden level. So from the street we can see just a typical gamble house roof, white building, but there is no roof ties, just a white shape, a white mess. And he designed and he hide the private functions under the ground. So that's why he didn't have to design a big 2-level high building. It was enough to design 1-level high building because he hid another part of the building inside the ground. But because he hid inside the ground, he has to open the ground with this large large patios. And these patios can let the sunshine and the light into the bedrooms. So we arrive from here. This is the entrance of the building. We can use the staircase to go down, but you can find the studio, the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen on the first level. And on the basement, on the lower level, we can find that one. And we can go to the first level, to the second level too. There is also some interesting stuff, because that's where we can find a special room, a special studio. This is the first level with the living area and the dining area. And we can go down. You can find the 3 courtyard, 1, 2 and 3. And this courtyard connected to the bedrooms. 1 to here, 1 to here, and 1 to here. And this is the 3 height cut-through courtyard patio, what can give lights for the corridor, so it's not a dark, closed corridor. And there is a guest room too in the 8. This is the staircase where we arrive from the first level, and this is the corridors around the patio. It's really nice, the visual and the audio connection between the courtyards and between the patios. This is a bedroom with that openings into the ground. It's really nice how the soft light is floating to the spaces. And you can see how important is to divide the public from the private functions. Of course, there is a transition between these functions, but you can see on this floor plan how good it is to give some private space for the people who live here. Private courtyard, private bedroom, private bathroom. Private courtyard, private bedroom, private bathroom. Private courtyard, private bedroom with a private bathroom. So it's divided words in a bigger world, in a bigger universe. And of course these rooms are separated, but because of the bigger social places, like the courtyard here and the first level, the kitchen, the dining is designing around this courtyard and this patio inside. It's really good because it's organized the social activity between the family members. And when you invite guests, it's a really nice place to serve the food and serve the drinks and make the party and make the meeting here. So the people and the guests will not enter the intimacy of your life, the private part of your life. So that's why I think it's important to separate these functions from each other. The house is white. It's a really nice connection between the sky, because from the lower level, from here, if you look up, you're gonna see the sky. So there will be a really nice connection with the sky. And for the designer and for the client, it was not a really important thing to see the existing natural and built environment around the plot, around the building. It was more important to create an inner life of the house. So this house turns into itself and serve the life of the people, the private life of the people, or a little bit social life of the people. And there is just a few interaction with the street. Just a big opening and another big opening, and that's it. This one and this one, and not anymore. Some section, street view, and yeah, that's it. I like this building because it's really raw, and first when you see it, just you don't understand because it's an art of piece, an art object. But after, if you investigate the floor plans and the sections and how they reacted to the site, and how they reacted to the sloping and to the site typology, the site topology, it's really nice how reacted and how used the advantages of the plot. Okay, let's continue with a really old house from 1953, Oscar Niemeyer, the Canals house. Let's travel to another part of the world, go to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Oscar Niemeyer house, the Canals house. Oscar Niemeyer designed this Canals house in 1951 as a family home. The house is considered amongst the most significant designs of modern architecture to exist in South America's largest nation, Brazil. Specialists in art history see the design as a blend of modern architecture and authoritative self-creation, a blend which flourished in Europe and the United States more than in South America. Now this is open for tourism. The Canals house gives visitors to Brazil a fixed way looking into Niemeyer concepts of design. The most intriguing feature of the Canals house is the synthesis of minimalist and organic architecture. Oscar Niemeyer's design pays obvious homage to the Frankfurt House in Plano, Illinois, which was designed by architect Smith van der Rohe. The Canals house does not support the concept of geometric regularity as seen in Roha designs. He experimented with curved forms in the modernism and broke with the traditional rigid forms. As seen in Roha's design, however, it does not change the concept of formal purity either. An evolution in reinforced concrete is obvious as such as was increasingly becoming a modern material. It is located in sloping and mountainous terrain amid dense vegetation. The slope of the terrain helps the project to have a view of natural and the sea. Niemeyer respected the natural topography and adapted the house into its irregularities, which gives more character to the project and relates it more than the natural places. You can see the natural environment line, the spline of the terrain. So it was important to design something on the top, something on the down, and just floating lines and planes. What was the first example? The horizontal lines, what I showed for you, and the part there. One there for the public, one there for the private. Then arriving position and the private position. Dry tropical climate regulated by its proximity to the sea. The annual average there was temperature is 14 Celsius with a relative humidity of 78. July is the coldest month with an average temperature of 18, and January is the hottest temperature reaching 36. Due to climate, Niemeyer makes a glass house with sliding doors which makes this house permeable, and also on the first floor use small circular perforation for private places and need natural ventilation such as bedrooms. Dining room locates in the part where the shade thus and avoids that they put curtains in the glasses. The house is located in a suburb of Rio de Janeiro called Barra de Tijuca, was built into the slope of a hill, however we see before, and overlooks the bay reaching inland from the Atlantic Ocean behind there. Oscar Niemeyer is quoted as saying, in reference to his idea when designing the house, "My concern was to project the residence freely and to adapt into the unevenness of the field without modification, making it into curves so the vegetation could enter them without separation or departure from the straight line." Niemeyer purposely created the living spaces to set in a shadow so there would be no need for curtains. This in turn allowed the home to be transparent. The architect's intention was a design of absolute freedom, a freedom which came by shaping to the environment and adapting it to its irregularities. In a truly modernist fashion, doing such allowed the design to be penetrated by the thick vegetation that is very typical of the Brazilian terrain. The canvas house interior was designed by the architect and his daughter with the goal of giving a cozy atmosphere of familiarity to the resident. This concept is evident with the original curves that are in all corners of the design. Windows are outgoing, making it easy to peer out at the subtropical vegetation. Nature also fused with the design by the house of granite entering of the living spaces from the garden and seeing to almost clean out the soil. Sculptures handmade by Alfredo Seschiatti sees by side the property pool. The roof design wings and its restrained the pillars that help to emphasize the flow of the fluid glass facade. The paper model you can see. Niemeyer this house from Niemeyer is known as a work of glass, concrete and steel that bends to the earth, sitting above the São Conrado area of Rio. The property was restored in 1955 and now belongs to the Oscar Niemeyer Foundation. So Niemeyer experimented with the current forms in the moderns and tried to break with the traditional rigid forms, just floating this one concrete slab and hide everything around it, and use this pillar outside of the real form and hide another functions under this one. So this is not a huge building in the forest, not a two-level big building, so it is an optional to see through the building and so see what is behind the building, see the nature, the forest, the wild forest. This was the most important idea. You can see the floor plan, what I could find. can see the platform and you can see the floor plan, and it's really beautiful if you check and if you observe. Of course, somehow the floor plan and the glass wall follow the slab form, but not perfectly. So the walls and the roof is related but not follow each other. So the walls are independent from the slab, from the curved slab. And I think it's really, really important. And this was the modernism in architecture. This was the most important what the modernism in architecture could give the architecture to the architects. They were able to separate the roof from the floor plan. Of course, these they work together, but not based on each other. So you can create a very nice, playful slab to the roof, and you can step back a little bit the walls, so the core of the building is more intimate and more private, and you can create a walk around site around the house. Use pillars for the slab. And if you designers suggest this kind of knowledge from the modern architecture, the modernism, because it can free your hand, it can free your mind. You don't have to design a form like this and follow the roof with this one. You can hang above a little bit. You have the chance to do whatever you want. Okay, let's continue it.